Welcome to the Bucher and Friends podcast, co-starring 10-year NFL veteran and Super Bowl champion, Will Blackman.
Manning from the end zone. He throws, and a deflect away, and it is picked off by Will Blackman, the former Giant.
Tim Dwight watches it hit, bounces, picks it up at the 10, slips a defender, fumbles the football, it's up for grabs, it's covered in the end zone by Will Blackman for a Green Bay touchdown!
And now, here is your host,
Let's send it over to Ric Bucher.
Ric Bucher.
Welcome to another episode of Bucher and Blackman, subsidiary of Bucher and Friends, part of the United WeCast Network. I'm Ric Bucher. You can see me on FS1. You can read me on Bleacher Report, and you can follow me on Twitter at Ric Bucher. He is NFL champ, Super Bowl champ, NFL vet. You can find him on Twitter at Will Blackman. Yeah, you know what? I mowed a lawn today for the first time, and I don't know how long. Maybe that's
you didn't have a choice. That's why.
I did not have a choice because I'm visiting my parents. My dad is about to turn 90 in August, and my brother, who lives in the area, who normally takes care of such things, basically said, "Have Rick do it." And how was I to say no? Visiting from California, that was like that was a challenge, basically. Basically, what he was saying, the subliminal message was, I'm not even sure he knows how to cut a lawn anymore, which is how I made money as a kid. So it took me back to my childhood.
I think he was just in his routine. Like, Rick's home.
Yeah.
Get
in your bag. Yeah, let's have you do something.
We're waiting for you to get back home and take care of this grass.
There's no doubt about that. There's no doubt about that. There is definitely a sense of, I'm the one who lives in the area, so I have to do all the little chores for the parents. Anyway, we have a lot to get to. It's been a while since we've been able to get together. I hope all of you have enjoyed the segments with Rajon Rondo in the last couple of episodes. I've been traveling, and with FS1 and free agency and the draft and everything, it's been challenging to keep our regular schedule, but we will get back on schedule at some point. All right, so the number one thing I have to run by you, Will, to get your take right off the bat, the Lakers make the blockbuster deal for Anthony Davis. How are you feeling about that trade?
Finally. That's how I feel about it. It was going to happen. It was just a matter of time. Not surprised, not shocked. They tried to work it earlier in the year, and it proves to be right because those are exactly the players who they sent over, or the ones they talked about. So it was just something that was bound to happen, and it did.
Yeah, the one thing...
The question is who's next?
Yeah, you might have to hold your breath on that one. But this is the thing that gets me, that was not part of the original conversation, which is the compensation down the line and all of the future draft picks that are involved. I mean, essentially, the Pelicans are going to control the Lakers draft for the foreseeable future. They have the right to swap first-round picks with the Lakers in 2023. It's an unprotected first-round pick in 2024 that the Pelicans can defer to 2025, which means if we don't like the talent in 2024, we can push it to 2025. It's a top 8 protected pick in 2021. That's unprotected in 2022 if they don't hand it over. So this is what really worries me about this. Normally, I'm of the mind that the team that gets the star, I don't believe that quantity wins over quality, although I believe that's shifting in the NBA a little bit too.
Do you think so? Oh, why? Like teams like Milwaukee?
Yeah, I believe that because the game is played at the pace that it's played, if we saw the way Toronto won, if we take a hard look at the way the Warriors won, you would say that depth and versatility is arguably more important. I know this is the misnomer. Before we say goodnight to the Warriors, this is the misnomer about the Warriors.
That they were all drafted.
Well, and that they were top heavy in talent. They were once they got Kevin Durant. Then they became top heavy and their depth wasn't the same. But if you look at Steph Curry, he's not a traditional superstar. I put him in the superstar category, but he's a unique type in that he's not a physically dominant superstar.
Like a Reggie Miller.
Yeah, in that way, yeah. In a different, I could put them, they're not the same player.
They're not the same player.
But their efficiency and their understanding of the game and their figuring out, like their cunning and their craft are what distinguishes them as superstars.
Yeah, it's not like they're not gonna wear you out over the course of a game.
They can't overpower you.
Right, they might get hot a couple times, which will be enough. When you're like, okay, don't let this guy get in a rhythm.
I would have never made the Reggie Miller comparison, but that actually kind of works. I gotta give you props for that. That's weird.
That's what I look at, because he was scary in terms of like, okay, if he gets hot and he's in the zone, then we're in trouble.
Yeah.
And there were a couple of games where, Kawhi would have an ugly 35 points.
Right.
But he ended up wearing teams out over the course of the game.
That's a good point. The way he got his points would beat you up physically. Yeah. That's a good point.
And he can do it the whole game.
But even so, there's Steph. Klay Thompson, perennial all-star. But he's borderline, I don't even know if you make him a superstar. He's a great fit next to Steph.
He's a superstar.
He's a great two-way player. I don't know how much he...
So what's after a superstar? Because I think Steph's a superstar. I think Klay's a superstar. So what's next?
What do you mean, next level?
Yeah.
Star. See, here's my definition of superstar.
Under superstar?
Here's my definition of superstar. You get your buckets, you get your points, and you also get other people their points. You not only get yours, but you create for others. You make the game easy for others. And Klay does that in a way.
That's different than make the game easy for others. They do.
Well, that's my definition.
In terms of...
They do in certain ways.
Yeah, when they're in a game, they space out.
Yes.
And you got to find these guys.
In ways. But if, like, a Kobe or a LeBron or a Michael, they made it easier for everybody in a multitude of ways. Like, they weren't finding a specific way. I'll never forget the first NBA Finals I ever covered, 93. I came in with one of the best finals ever. Bulls versus Suns. Jordan versus Barkley. And Jordan, people may not forget this. People may forget this. Jordan, in that series, decided, you know what? I'm not going to worry about scoring. I'm not going to let Dan Marley touch the ball. And for the first quarter, Dan, I think, got the ball twice. He might have got one shot off. I mean, basically, he got it. He'd have to give it up right again. Michael just decided, you guys do the rest. I'm going to make Dan Marley a non-factor in this game for the first 12 minutes. And did.
Okay.
This is what made Magic and Larry would figure out what part of the game can we dominate or influence? And then we're going to do that.
So you're saying a two-way player?
Yeah. Well, no. In the case of Magic and Larry, they would figure out how can I? What's the avenue for me to dominate this game? Michael was so good, he would choose which area of the game he was going to dominate. Am I going to go out and get 50? Am I going to be a lockdown defender? Am I going to facilitate?
But you're bringing up the best ever.
Yes, that's right. Well, I think we watered down the title of superstar. People say Anthony Davis is a superstar. Get the bleep out of here. He's not a superstar.
He's an all-star.
He's an all-star. He's a star. He's a star. He's not a superstar. The talent says he's a superstar. The results of that talent say he's not. Kevin Love at one point in Minnesota, the numbers said he was a superstar. The results said, no, he's not. For me, a superstar gets it for others, and does it in winning fashion. I have a very high bar to cross.
Clearly.
For you to be a superstar. Because I just feel like we've gotten into superlatives now. Like everybody's great. Everybody's this.
I think Steph is a superstar on all levels.
He's not a superstar defensively.
Well, just as a player. He's not defensively, but he does have an MVP.
See, I can't. Well, he's got two. He's got 2 league MVPs.
Exactly.
But no finals MVPs.
Well, it happens when you get Kevin Durant.
In part, but he had opportunities prior to that to be the best player in the series and was not. At least one was because of injury, so discount that. He's look. You'll never have me criticize Steph Curry.
A superstar.
Yeah, I'm good with calling him a superstar, but it's a unique superstar. He doesn't quite fit the blueprint that I use for just about everybody else.
Then just say second tier. He's second tier.
No, I don't even want to do that. I don't want to do that because I don't want to discredit how unique he is. He like the Warriors. There's something about a superstar.
Who are your top 5 players right now
in the league?
Yep, right now, top 5.
Are we counting whether like injury?
Just pick 5. They're good to go. They're all good to go.
Well, I don't. KD I hope is going to be close to what he was on the other side. I will say KD. I will say Kawhi. I will still say LeBron.
Still say LeBron? You are just insane right now.
I will still say LeBron.
You're at, you know what? Because you're at your parents' house in your bedroom and you're just being an adult.
No, that's in Ohio. If there was ever a place where I would be more preferential to LeBron, it would be
here. The fact that
here.
you even had to hesitate and say that, man, that is just ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. No, it's not. I need to see it, much like everything else.
Giannis.
Need to see him come back from this injury. And
you gave me 3. I need 2 more. You need to see him to come back from the injury and see what he does this year. That's Rick.
See, it gets really thin after those 3. It gets really thin because.
So you put LeBron and Steph in the same category. That's what you just did. You demoted LeBron to being a star.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I said he was a superstar. Yeah, I said he's one of the 3 best players in the league. I'll put Steph in that category. He's in the top 5. Steph's in the top 5.
So who's the other? Who's 5 then?
I suppose Giannis by default. See, I don't know how much he makes the game easier for other people. He does everything, but he's not a playmaker at this stage. You can muddy up the game. He's not even a complete player, to be honest, because he doesn't have range shooting. And as athletically overwhelming as he can be, there's certain things that you can do to really inhibit his game. So I'll put Giannis in as the 5th, but Giannis, Joel Embiid, there's a bunch of guys that kind of fit, but...
So Harden, is he top 5?
I can't put Harden top 5 right now.
What? You are just tough, bro.
I am tough. Did I mention that I mowed a lawn today? I'm feeling tough.
It wasn't the one where you had to scoop up the grass. It probably had a bag in it.
No, this is the new lawnmower. I didn't even know this. This tells you how long it's been since I cut grass, and obviously since you have too, it mulches it now. You don't need a bag. It mulches the grass and leaves it where you can't even see it. It's amazing. By the way, for the record, I cut 2 lawns today. My parents and at the apartment building that they own. So there you go. All right. So where are you ranking the Lakers now that they have Anthony Davis and LeBron James? And let's, for the sake of this conversation, say that they're not getting a third star, because I don't think they are. Kemba Walker's not coming out. Kawhi Leonard's not joining the Lakers as much as his sister might want that to happen.
Right.
So, by the way, speaking of which, have you ever
had... Is Derrick Rose available?
What's that?
Is Derrick Rose available?
Is Derrick Rose available?
Yeah.
Derrick Rose is available. I think there's a better chance that Rajon Rondo ends up back there, because I'm sure AD will co-sign his value from when he was with New Orleans.
That's very true.
LeBron and he got along, so I could see them re-upping him.
That's very true.
So
I don't rank them yet because they still need to fill up their roster.
Okay, so, well, good. I'm glad to hear that, because a lot of people, and Vegas included, Vegas is, well, they're the odds-on favorite to win a championship. And this is why I'm hesitant with my rating and my assessment of LeBron. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that he comes back and he's the same LeBron. At some point, I guess the Warriors and what we saw happen to them physically underscores what an unbelievable freak of nature LeBron James has been. 9 consecutive NBA finals. I mean, or 9 total NBA finals. Do I have that right? 7 consecutive?
I think 8.
8 consecutive?
Yeah.
8 consecutive, 9 total. That's insane. That is insane. You're watching the Warriors.
That's why you hesitated. And I'm like, dude, are you kidding me?
No, I'm hesitating because now we've seen him
like a year ago.
What's that?
He just went to the finals like a year ago.
Understood, but we finally saw, arguably, Father Time tapping him on the shoulder. So that makes me wonder, okay, is the cumulative effect, is the price to be paid for 9 NBA Finals appearances, is that finally coming due? Is the waiter headed to the table with the check? Finally.
No.
And I don't say that because I want to see it happen.
The waiter's coming with the check.
Yes.
And he's like, "Can I see the menu?"
LeBron is. Like he's gonna order another meal.
LeBron wants to see the menu. We have more guests coming. It's not the way. We have another guest.
Anthony Davis is not enough to make me believe that they're going to push over. If I'll put it this way, if the Clippers get Kawhi Leonard, I'm taking the Clippers. They're not even the best team in their own city. You gonna fight me on that?
I'm not gonna fight you on that. I just don't know who else they're gonna get.
What if they don't get anybody?
Yeah, they do have the best coach in the city,
Doc Rivers.
Mm-hmm.
That's another part. That's another thing, by the way, with the Lakers being NBA champs.
Frank.
Yeah, and Frank is a good dude, but Frank is a non-confrontational dude.
He's what they call a player's coach.
Yeah. And he didn't have a whole lot of success in Orlando. You saw Steve Clifford come in there, have a profound effect on that team. Nobody there was mean enough to say it, but when they sang the praises of Steve Clifford and how he prepared them from the first day he walked in there, the message was Frank Vogel wasn't doing that. And it's not basketball IQ or acumen or any of that. I don't know that he has the presence of an NBA head coach. You even look at Nate McMillan, what he did with Indiana, stepping in. And I think Nate is a good coach. I don't know if he's a great coach. He's a good coach, but he's got more presence and more willingness to challenge players than Frank does. I've never seen Frank do it. He's a good guy to everybody. So maybe there's been a time where he's been willing to confront somebody and stand up and tell them what's what. I just haven't seen it. Now, if you're going to win a championship, you don't think Steve Kerr, you don't think Greg Popovich, you don't think they had at times to stand up and tell guys what's up? It's one of the criticisms of Mike D'Antoni. He's not willing to do that. Hold guys' feet to the fire. You have to be willing to do that. So this immediate leap to the Lakers being the favorite, maybe it's by default, and maybe it's because of LeBron's history, but I'm not buying it. And I'm still waiting to see exactly how good Anthony Davis can be with those kind of expectations. He's never faced the expectations that he's going to face in LA, in a market like that. Keep in mind.
Right.
So,
it'll be all right.
I hope you're right, but it's not something, in spite of what Vegas is saying, it's not something I'd bet on. I'd bet on the Clippers first. And I'm trying to think if there was another team out there.
But you said earlier that LeBron makes everybody around him better.
He does. But how much better at this stage?
If any improvement for AD is going to be phenomenal.
I'm sure he will make AD better. But there are going to be I mean, how many guys can LeBron make better? LeBron also needs guys that fit in with him to do what he does. You need veterans.
He needs shooters.
Yeah. I'm also the histrionics over Kyle Kuzma not being in the deal to New Orleans. Like, Kyle Kuzma is a nice player. He was a nice find in the 20s in that draft. Let's slow down on just how good he is. He's good. He's good. He's good for
LeBron getting a rest.
Late first round pick.
He's good for LeBron getting a rest.
In terms of what? Just providing scoring while LeBron is on the bench?
Yes.
Okay. Again, this is a different prism. Now we're talking championship. Like, this changes the dynamic. The expectations have to be
going to get better.
They have to be graded, but they have to be graded on a whole other level now. We're not talking about LeBron and the young guys and making the playoffs and being dangerous and can they get a top seed. Now they are the hunted, if we're going by the Vegas setup. Now they're supposed to be the best team in the league. You really think they're the best team in the league?
No,
you don't think you don't think Milwaukee could beat them?
I definitely think Milwaukee can beat them right now, but they don't have a full roster.
Yeah, but their ability to fill that. You're right. My question is, are guys, and this is why I'm not convinced that they're going to get another star in the cap space that they have, is that I'm not sure that guys are flocking to be part of this team because they know that LeBron, if you're coming to sign that deal, you're coming to sign a 4-year deal, right? LeBron has 3 more years on his contract, but realistically, how many more years do you think he can play at a championship level? Not 3 more years. You're not one of those, are you?
I am.
3 more years?
Dog, you're out of control.
No, I'm not.
These guys are professional athletes. They have everything. They have all the tools they need to recover, stay healthy, whatever they need to do.
But
there's enough information out there. Now, at the end of the day,
LeBron's going to be 35 years old.
Who cares?
Well, look, Kobe, for everything that he was doing and all the information he had, couldn't hold off Father Time.
Jerry Rice made the Pro Bowl at 40.
Oh, now really, we're going to compare a wide receiver to what we're asking LeBron.
40-year-old
okay,
receiver.
40-year-old made the Pro Bowl. How did his team finish? Where did he lead? Where did that Pro Bowl performance lead them?
I think this year they won the Super Bowl, is it not?
No way. At 40? No way. Yeah, look that up.
I will fact check.
Yeah, I hear the tap, tap, tap. Go check that out.
I'm in there tapping.
The Super Bowl.
Look up Kim Collins, dude. He ran the 60 meters, and he was 41 years old and had the lead time at one point.
I appreciate that you are supporting older athletes. I do. That you have their back.
Carl Lewis got a gold at like 33. Charles Woodson won Defensive Player of the Year at 33.
LeBron is 35. And might I remind you, I'm talking about the bill that the waiter is bringing for the 9 finals appearances. The nine seasons that went all the way to the finals. Throw in some U.S. national team appearances. The dude's tread on his tires is thin. And I believe that what we saw last year when he got injured for the first time, significant injury, Rajon Rondo talked about this. It's the first time ever. He had to throw LeBron for a loop. And this is a guy who has spent countless thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, to get the most out of his body. You're suggesting that he can find another elixir, and I'm saying he's done everything he can to be what he's been. To say that he's can continue that ad infinitum is just not realistic. You have an answer on what Jerry Rice did when he was a Pro Bowler at 40?
Yes. So I'll tell you what. When he was 39.
Oh, here we go. Now we're going to change the. Okay. Yes.
He caught 83 passes for 1,140 yards.
Yes.
When he was 40.
Yes.
He caught 92 passes.
Yes.
For 1,211 yards and 7 touchdowns in 2002, and that is the year they lost to the Oakland Raiders in the Super Bowl. To the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the Super Bowl.
Really?
Because John Gruden left and went over and knew all their stuff. Okay? Jerry, Rice, and Beans got it done. Pro Bowl at 40. Ha! And that was back then. They didn't have the medicine they have now. They didn't have all the hydration
You
and recovery.
You keep referencing that. I've seen you reference that in social media.
And Jerry Rice played all 16 games.
He did play all 16, although that was pretty much his standard. You look at his career, he had...
Yeah, out of 300 games.
He had 9 seasons in a row where he played all 16 games. That is insane.
Yeah, bro.
And 10 out of 11, and the one year he didn't, he played 50. He played in all 16. He just didn't start a game. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Exactly. Super Bowl 30.
All right. Nonetheless, your point taken.
He's fine.
I stand corrected.
He's fine.
We'll see. We will see.
All good. He had a groin injury. Blah. He'll be fine.
So let's back up. So let's back up. So do you think that all of the injuries that the Warriors suffered were just freak injuries?
There was definitely war attrition for them. However, Clay's, he definitely landed awkward.
He did, but here's my argument.
He landed very, very awkward when he's looking back. When he tried to make that dunk, he was looking back and he landed very, very, very awkwardly.
I'm sure you would agree with this, though. When you are fatigued, both mentally and physically, it's more likely for those things to happen. Your lift is not the same. Your balance is not the same.
Fatigue and age, absolutely.
Yeah, and it throws you off, and that's how you have the cataclysmic injuries that previously you would have kind of gathered yourself, or you would have saved yourself from. You would have been able to avoid because you just had that split second extra of reaction time, and that's why I believe that the ACL injury and the way he landed was a byproduct of KD being out, having to carry the extra weight, doing that. No,
that was him
year.
Looking back and landing awkwardly. It had nothing to do with him being tired.
I believe
he looked back and his knee he landed very, very funny. If many people land like that, they would have got hurt themselves.
No, understood. But why was he looking back?
To make sure it went in.
Okay. Also because because of how he took off. He took off at a weird angle. He took off late. I think all of that matters.
No, Danny Green blocked it and fouled him. And he looked to see if he got the and-one.
My point being, does Danny Green catch up? Danny Green's no sprinter. Danny Green's
He just came back from a hamstring injury.
Again, you're right. He didn't have the same speed, didn't have the same lift. because of that injury. Why do you think he had the hamstring injury? How did that happen?
Because he did some overstretch thing that he did in the game.
Overexertion.
No, he overstretched it awkwardly.
Okay.
You're just digging. It's not happening.
No. I'm not digging. Look, every single Clay has been an Iron Man over these years until last year. He got hurt at the end of the year. And to me, it was like, that's the signal. Steph got hurt. KD got hurt. Andre got hurt. Draymond got hurt. Like every guy that they rode. And this is based on talking to guys who've gone to just a couple of finals in a row and what it did to them physically. Nobody ever talked about it at the time. Nobody even knew it. John Stockton had to have microfracture surgery on his knee after they made their 2 runs to the finals. Jason Kidd, same thing. Karl Malone, I forget what his was, but he had a significant injury. Like the impact of playing that much, that long, that hard, multiple seasons, just a couple seasons in a row, has an impact on guys. They're not the same.
This was the first season in a while where LeBron legit had zero help. Okay?
When they were 20-14, when everybody was healthy, before he poisoned the waters by being willing to trade all these guys, I can't say he didn't have any help.
We had some. In comparison, though, they weren't championship ready.
No, they weren't that. They weren't a team that was fit for him, I'll give you that. But I don't want to say...
So a team that wasn't fit for him, let me correct that. A team that wasn't fit for him where he probably overdid it.
Except he didn't.
I'm not going to accept the fact.
He didn't overdo it. He wasn't playing hard all the time. We were already seeing him measure and take plays off. He's done that throughout the course of his career. Wisely, you would argue, because he's found a way to really determine when do I have to exert myself and when can I dial it back. That's the thing that I've had to come to terms with LeBron, because Kobe wasn't like that. Michael wasn't like that. In their heyday, they were not like that. And they didn't last.
He's a businessman.
Yes, he is. He is, and he's a shrewd one.
He's the Mayweather of basketball.
Yes.
Okay?
Amen. And I used to be critical of that, and I'm having to come around to the fact that, dude, he just might have been wiser than all of us.
League, man. Listen, he said at one point when, what was it? He didn't win MVP. I forget what year that was. And they said, how do you feel about that, LeBron? He said, the NBA knows what I mean to the league.
Yeah.
They know my value.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it goes all the way back to when he said what his goal was. His goal was to be the first billionaire athlete. Not to be the best basketball player. Not to be the greatest of all time in the NBA. First billionaire athlete.
In the words of Jay-Z, I'm a businessman.
Yeah.
I can't even say it so far.
Yeah.
I'm not a businessman. I'm a business.
That's right.
Man.
That's right.
Let me handle my business. Damn. Let me get AD over here. Let me handle my business. No, this was the least amount of minutes he's played.
There you go.
His whole career.
Well, that's because of the injuries, though.
Oh, in 55 games, yeah.
Oh, the average minutes per game?
It was 35, yeah.
Well, I think he dialed it back considerably down the stretch.
Ever since he found the plan, he knew about the plan.
Yeah. All right, before we say goodbye, I do have to get your take real quick on the draft. What are you most looking forward to? What feeling do you have about the impact that this draft will have on next year?
Well, I'm interested to see what New Orleans do with 1 and 4.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know what they're going to do with 1. I think they're going to, from everything I'm hearing, they're going to trade 4. 4 is available. 4 is available.
4 is definitely available. Yeah. That'd be interesting. I'm just excited to see wherever John Morant lands.
He'll be number 2. He'll go to Memphis.
Yeah.
And the question is, will they trade Mike Conley before the draft? I think they have to, Otherwise, his value plummets. Once you get to John Morant, most people are going to look at it and go, we know you want to play John. We know you want to play John Morant. So
Right, yeah.
You have to move Mike Conley. So the value of Mike is I think they should have moved him when they moved Marc Gasol, to be honest. But they were trying to get a lot more than the market would bear. I don't believe that this draft is going to have a profound effect on the power structure.
You have a lot of
league.
backups.
Yeah. Well, yes, you have a lot. I think you have a lot of quality rotational players.
Right.
Other than Morant, there will be at least one other player, whether it's R.J. Barrett or it's Kobe White. There's going to be another player outside of the top two that is going to end up being a core player, a starting core player.
I think. Who's the kid out of Indiana?
Romeo
Langford. Romeo Langford.
Okay.
I think he has a chance.
Interesting.
I think he's one of the best I think he's one of the better finishers in the draft.
That could be interesting.
And get to the bucket like a CJ McCollum type.
I'm surprised you said him, because Jarrett Culver from Texas Tech is getting a lot of love. And obviously I like Kobe White. I think he's underrated. I think Reddish might be overrated. I'll be interested to see what PJ Washington is able to do at the next level.
I think the same with the dude from, was it UNC, Kobe White?
Yes. Yeah.
I'm curious about him too. He was good on that team. I want to see him.
I think he can elevate his game. I think he can make the jump.
Yeah.
I think he's got enough. I think he's got enough game for that.
He's athletic enough.
Yep. Yeah, Romeo Langford. That'll be interesting. I think he's the 20s guy. If he ends up being a guy, then that will be quite the find.
Yeah, buddy.
We'll see.
Might have to move on over.
All right. That does it for this episode of Bucher and Blackman, subsidiary of Bucher and Friends, part of the United WeCast Network. Keep in mind, we would like you to rate the show. Let us know how we're doing wherever you get your podcast, iTunes or wherever. And if you screenshot that review and send it to @BucherFriends, you will be eligible to win some prizes. All right, that does it. In the next episode, I'm going to do it's a Bucher friendless episode, and I'm going to talk about what it was like to say goodbye to a building. I've said goodbye to a lot of things. Friends, relationships, people, cars. Never said goodbye to a building, but that's what I'm saying goodbye to when it comes to Oracle Arena. And that's basically where my NBA career started. The number of stories that I have from that building are endless. That will be the subject of the next podcast. In the meantime, as always, thanks for listening.